You're listening to the Understand Me podcast, where we listen to learn and talk to teach. Life is complex. Let's understand one another. Here we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sanchez-Hernandez, and I am the host of the You, Me, Understand Me podcast, a podcast designed to give our everyday people, like you and me, a voice in the mainstream media. If you haven't had a chance yet, head over to our website at understandme.blog and read the topic of today's podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 3, revolves around a blog post titled, How Education Makes You Depressed. For today's episode, I decided to bring in one of Koreatown's most prominent members of the neighborhood. He is a distinguished member of his local high school, STEM Academy of Hollywood, and has received multiple awards for his dedicated effort in excelling education while helping the youth do so as well. As ABC 7 has previously reported, Victor is a cool kid, spends time mentoring local kids at a local recreation center, and has shown eagerness in developing the next generation of Latino leaders. Today we will discuss the following topics: the meaning of education, the correlation between college and depression, and finding the balance between education and egoism. Without further ado, welcome Victor Sanchez. All right, Victor. First thing first, go ahead and give me a quick introduction about yourself. Tell the audience about things that we don't know and who you exactly are.
So my name is Victor Sanchez-Hernandez. I'm from Koreatown. I'm a high school student. A lot of people think I'm way older because the way I handle myself or how mature I am. But I'm a high school student. Currently in the 12th grade. So my last year is my senior year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Victor, and like I mentioned, you do have some accolades under your belt. You were featured in Telemundo. You were featured in ABC. You've been featured in a lot of the programs that Gear Up for LA. So go ahead and describe a bit about what Gear Up for LA really is and how it's impacted you educational-wise and academically and personally.
Yeah, so Gear Up for LA is actually, think of it this way, it's a big bag of money that DC hands down to different organizations. And so LAUSD, this is Gear Up for LA, is part of LAUSD, which is our Los Angeles Unified School District. And they assign this Gear Up program in different schools. They start off in middle school and they follow you to your first year of college.
Okay.
So I was first introduced to this in the 7th grade. I still remember the academic advisor who came up to me. She was really cool.
Okay.
She just first started off like, what do you think college is? Are you determined to go to college? How much you think it costs? And she was really hyping me up about this idea that I didn't even know I was like really set the path on going to.
So prior to actually meeting these people, prior to actually getting some academic advising, what was your entire perspective as toward the future? Did you ever have college in mind? Did you want to go straight into the workforce? Did you want to go to the Army? What was your plan going forward before you met them?
You know what? I didn't have like no plan at all. Because they started off real young. 7th grade, what were you doing in 7th grade?
Jeez, in 7th grade, what was I doing? Definitely not getting academic advising. Probably on MySpace, just hearing music, subscribing to my top 10 friends, watching Green Day, stuff like that. But in terms of college, my God, I never thought about that until probably sophomore, junior year, and to really decide where I wanted to go senior year. So in terms of what I was doing 7th grade, pretty much compared to you, I was doing nothing.
Yeah, see, and they saw that. That's why they wanted to create this program and bring it into middle school so they can inform the youth, especially in low-income areas like Koreatown, East Hollywood, South Central, and stuff like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. So pretty much Gear Up for LA, college advising program. It gives young youth knowledge as to things pertaining to college, FAFSA, how to apply for college, how to get scholarships, things in general to excel college enrollment. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for you, now that you're in a position where you're about to transition from high school to college, what are some of the things that you really want to impose into the younger youth for them to know more about college? Some of the brief things that you know now that you want the younger generations to know?
Everything. I want them to know everything that I've gotten the chance to learn with Gear Up. Like, I didn't know programs are willing to fly you out to a different state to learn about something that you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that at all. Like, I've heard teachers talk about it. Oh, I flew out this place. They paid for me. But to really be part of a program that's willing to fly you out to learn about something that you want to learn, and that there's a whole bunch of other kids who are passionate about the same thing that don't
have the money or
the knowledge that it does. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Now that you're going to be in this position to actually go into the college realm, what is your perspective on education? Now, on my blog post, I talk about how education is a big key factor in today's society, how we have that at a high pedestal. What do you believe true education is? So is it just a college degree? Is it just the fact that you're enrolled in one of the greatest universities ever? What is an education, a genuine education? What do you think it is, in your opinion?
We're talking about high school level or the college level?
Whatever you think education is.
So overall, I feel like education, it's something that is going to make you a better person.
Okay.
Someone that that corrects your ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not knowledgeable about a topic and they teach you about this topic, you now are aware of something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
For example, let's say you learn about the history of your community.
Okay.
Right? And you live there most of your life. And
Yeah.
you don't know anything about it, and now you learn about that topic, you're more knowledgeable. Now you can spread that knowledge to the younger generations to keep it going.
So in that sense, do you think education is more of a must-have or something that should not be given to everyone? So in terms of, I think in the one sense, I think having too much education can breed some type of egoism. Having no education can bring some sense of humility. Where do you find the balance between being humble because you don't know much, but you're willing to learn, and knowing too much to where you don't want to learn? How do you find the balance in that?
So let me flip the question for a second.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to learn and going into college? Like, what do you want to follow or pursue?
I mean, generally, when I first started college, when I first attended UC Irvine, what I genuinely wanted to learn was biology. I just wanted to know more about the body, more about academic curriculums that I never got exposed to during high school. Yeah. Now, in terms of once I was already progressing in college and academically succeeding, I started getting into a notion that I knew more than my fellow peers. And so to a point when I would return to my local high school and I would return to my community, for some reason I felt more superior. So I felt more academically advanced than many of my peers. Yeah. Even though I attended a great college and I was attending a great institution, for some reason I started getting very egotistic. I thought that I knew everything. And it wasn't until I acknowledged myself and understood that I don't know everything. Therefore, I need to get out of my high pedestal, go back onto the ground, and understand that there's things that I don't know, and I should be willing to listen. Yeah. So that being said, my pedestal, my egoism came from attending a high university. My humility came from acknowledging I don't know everything. So that being said, I bridged it in the middle. How can I teach younger generations while also learning from them? And so one of the things I do now, I try to give a lot of advice into younger youth. If they're going through something, I try to give them some words of advice. I don't pretend I know everything. I don't pretend that I know every single solution in the world. Yeah. I understand certain things. I understand certain life challenges, and I try to give them my best advice. But there are things I don't relate to, and I have to understand that they're going through their own phase in life that I have to learn from and adapt to. So the next time that same situation is brought up on me, I can use that information to help the next person in line. Yeah. So that's the way I kind of bridge the gap. But in terms of you, how do you bridge the gap between egoism and humility in terms of education?
I feel like that depends on what type of person you are. Mm-hmm. If you're a really humbling person and you followed education because of your background, that you didn't come up with having nothing, and now you're really up there in the high at a college you wouldn't think you're at now, and you're learning about many of these different topics.
Okay.
Just the person you are, like if you're someone who's going to take that back and spread that knowledge to the community, that's something that basically I would like to do. Just go back into my community and spread that knowledge and not be that type of person who's like, oh, look at me, I made it this far in college.
Yeah. Exactly.
It depends what type of person you are. I feel like that's not, education can shape you that way, but it can also open your eyes into many different backgrounds.
So in a sense, education exposes the genuine character that you are. It pretty much shows your true inner feelings of that. Okay.
Because right after college, that's it. You're living life. You're following your career. You're doing what you want to do. And that's actually something my brother told me. Yeah. He's like, your elementary school friends are not going to be your middle school friends. Yeah. Your middle school friends most likely aren't going to be your high school friends.
Definitely.
Your high school friends most likely not going to be your college friends. Your college friends is really the people you make it out with, and you have businesses and all these ideas and, and friends with, you know?
Oh, okay, I see. Well, that's a great piece of advice, honestly. I think it's true. Friends are always going to change. Every single time that you're going into a new journey in your life, you have to start at ground zero again. You might have some people backing you up, but you're starting a new chapter. It's a new page. No words are written yet. You can't take the last page's words and put them into the new page. You have to take your time, develop the story, and develop your own journey. So in terms of that, I really commend your brother for giving you that piece of advice. Now, currently, you're a student. You're about to go into your senior year. Educationally
I
wise.
am in my senior
year.
You're
about to go into your college freshman year. Yep. That's right. So in your current high school and current educational system that you are a part of, what are some of the issues that you're seeing currently? Because during the time that I went to high school and middle school, we were just in the beginning era of social media. We didn't have to deal with any Instagram, any Facebook, any online feeds, any online cyberbullying. We really just had to deal with in-person stuff. We, at most, sometimes Facebook was a popular thing, but now you guys have like 30 different social medias. Yeah. So, one, current educational-wise, how is your school structured now to benefit you, and how is it structured to what's actually affecting you as a student? Yeah.
So currently, I attend STEM Academy of Hollywood, which is a pilot link learning school. Okay. It's kind of like the school you went to, RFK. Yeah. They're all pilot schools and community schools. So they're run mostly by the teachers, the students, and the parents. Okay. So if you want something to happen, you want some change, parents, teachers, and students can make that happen. It doesn't have to be regulated through LAUSD wholly. Yeah. So my school, I feel like, is a really loving school. If we want to make a change, we can, because of the students there are able to do the things they really want to do. Yeah. You know? And so most of these schools nowadays are taking that stance as most of these charter schools as well. Charter schools are way different than regular public schools. Okay. They make their own little regulations, who to accept, who not to accept. Yeah. And more schools like this I feel like it's better for our community because, for example, let's say you have a group of students who want to learn a specific topic that school's not offering it. Yeah. Parents are advocating for it. LAUSD doesn't want to change it, or any school district doesn't want to change it. Of course. You're going to have to send your kid out of the way, super far away, to another school that's offering this. And so I feel like if these schools or districts really listen to the community and what they want, and what the parents want and what the students want, it's going to further our schools and getting them on the right path to go to college. Because that's the whole point, right? What's the whole point of going to high school? Number one, being a better person. Yep. Number two, networking, getting to know people who live around you. You can see the same person walk out of their apartment building every day and go to school with, and you don't talk, you don't associate, right? Yeah, definitely. Up until high school. Yeah. Yeah. So just getting to meet people, networking, being a better person, and hopefully going to college.
I see. Okay, now, so this is a charter school, right? Is your school a charter school?
No,
what is it considered?
It's a public school.
Public school. Okay. So that being said, what are the current issues that you're seeing that are affecting many of the youth? What are some of the things structurally within a school system that are preventing youth from succeeding academically, from going to college and being successful in college?
I feel like there's a lot of little improvements that these schools can make, but I feel like it's all down to the student. Like the lack of motivation to attend higher education, to attend college. Yeah, I feel like it's high up there.
I see.
Some of these young high school students want to be like YouTubers and wild rappers, and that's good. You know, everybody has their aspirations, but
of course,
sometimes that changes in high school. That's what I'm saying. High school is really the place where it's like it determines what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Okay. So it depends on the student. The student really in high school learns about all that and can shape their future. Yeah.
So you believe high school is the place where you develop your aspiration? Is that what you believe you develop an aspiration?
Yes.
Okay, and then college, what does that specifically do? Does that solidify the aspiration, or does that change the aspiration? How do you feel? What do you think college is going to impact in that manner?
I mean, I've heard many stories of like high school students who move on to college and who are majoring in something they thought they really liked, and end up switching their major. So I feel like high school, like tying high school between college. High school is a place where you really experiment on what you want to do. If you really want to be that engineer or that doctor, then try it out with community college classes and see if you like it. And if you don't like it, now you know you don't like it. If you like it, then you like it. You're going to follow it into college. But it depends how the colleges ran and how the education system, what kind of community you really vibe with. You can go to a big college and really not feel like welcomed. Yeah, exactly. Or you can go to a small college and really feel welcome. You feel like you belong. You feel like you're a part of that school. And that's something that most colleges pay attention to and really ask their students that. Like, do you feel you're a part of the school, or do you feel like you're another person visiting and just chilling at this campus?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense. So in general, college is a place of testing. It's a place where you're going to test things that you think you might like and verify if you like them. So like you mentioned, if you take a course, you think you want to major in biology. You go to a biology class. After the biology class, you're like, heck no, I'm not going to be doing this.
Exactly.
Switch your major. Then you find your passion. You're like, oh, my God, this is much better. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, one of the things that I really bring about in this blog post, and it's a very serious issue, I think it's the issue of depression, the correlation between depression and education. So one of the things that was brought up upon recently is the fact that we had a child in high school, I believe it was in Oregon, where the situation happened where he brings a gun into the school. Luckily, once he pulls the gun out, all the students start running. Now, this teacher that was there, a gym teacher, might I add, he goes in, gets the kid, takes the gun away, disarms the kid, and instead of beating him up, instead of berating him, he simply gives him a hug. The kid simply breaks down, and he's on his chest. He is simply at loss for words. And the gym teacher, instead of simply doing the thing that any authority, police, principal, dean, whatever, of forcing the kid to be submissive, taking him down, knocking him out, etc., etc., this guy gives him a hug. And that's one of the things that I think is really crazy. The fact that the way he disarmed the guy was through violence, by forcefully taking the gun away, pushing him out. But the way he maintained his composure, the way he maintained peace, was simply by giving the child love. And by simply letting him know that someone cares, letting him know that he's there for him. I think that's one of the biggest things in today's American youth and youth in general that is affecting them. Because one of the things we're not talking about that I really want to be an advocate for is the fact that when you're in school, everybody's always telling you, you have to get A's, you have to get B's, you have to pass school, you have to go to college, you have to do X, Y, and Z. Teachers tell you this, your peers tell you this, friends, family, grandmas, grandpas, everybody's telling you, you have to get an A in class. But what happens when you don't? That's one of the things that I'm noticing, because as soon as somebody gets a B or C, they think of themselves as a failure. They think of themselves as, oh, I'm not doing great, or my mom's going to be disappointed in me if she looks at this. Now, granted, getting an A should be in a top priority. But if you don't get it, should you use education to view yourself? That's one of the things I'm really passionate about talking, because now seeing with the upgrade of social media, you can see people genuinely showing depression on social media as a cause of school. So, meaning if somebody's in school and they're getting C's, they might feel less of a person, less valuable when they compare themselves to peer number one that gets all A's. So that's one of the topics I really want to indulge in right now. It's more about depression and education. You personally, what are your opinions? Do you think there is a correlation between depression and education, or do you think it's kind of just something that's not even related to each other? What do you think?
No, there is a correlation between high school and depression. Like you're hitting it right on the nail with schools and how we should view ourselves as straight A students. But when we don't go up to that name or like really be that straight A student, we tend to break ourselves down and really find it hard to find that motivation to keep you going.
Okay.
For example, like all the students in high school, like starting off in 9th grade, 10th grade, students would be like, oh, miss, I'm depressed. You don't know what I'm going through.
Exactly.
But the thing is, like, some of these students are just saying it just to say it nowadays. Like, you'd be surprised at the amount of, like, clown students that be at my school just saying things just to say it. Because it's not... Back in the day, when you say things, you'd be serious. Now it's just like, you have all these comedians in class and stuff like that. But there really be students that like are depressed. Like, for example, all these students always claim how they're depressed, and up until the first semester of 11th grade, I was like, hey, low-key, is this how depression feels like? Because I was just sad, really get emotional just listening to music.
Yeah.
Like, I'll listen to the song again, I'm like, damn, this song go hard.
Yeah.
He's really, like, spitting some truth. And then at this time period, the first semester of 11th grade, I'm like, man, that's sad.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be a tear going down my eye on the bus. Like, what is this kid doing? Like, you really be like, you're at a loss at motivation. Like, you really don't have motivation to continue high school. You start questioning yourself, like, why high school?
Yeah.
Like, if I think about it now, I have a job. I can just work.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
just follow a different path.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, this high school, like, we spend our whole adult life or our whole teen life in school.
Yeah.
From kindergarten to 12th grade, from the time I'm 5 to 18.
Yeah.
The high school part, at least I can save some years not attending high school by following or getting a jump start in my career or whatever you want to do.
Of course.
So you really start questioning yourself around this time. Personally, I wouldn't question, like, you have a lot of students who really think about ending their life.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
wasn't
sad part.
me. Yeah, that sucks. Like, if you really think you should, this, like, planet is better with you not being here,
yeah,
I feel like you should seek help, or even just, like, a buddy of yours, a friend. Just talk to somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because really talking to people opens your eyes and really you feel more welcome, right? If you talk and open up on your issues and stuff like this, you feel more welcome. You might not know the person next to you is facing the same thing. You just don't know because you haven't spoke to that person.
I think that's one of the biggest things you can really mention is the fact about being open about if you need mental help. If you're feeling depressed or if you're feeling anything of that sort, you should definitely always talk about that. Now, when I was in college, one of the biggest things that I ever went through that really helped me understand people better, because when I was in high school, I never personally dealt with depression. Maybe I dealt with a heartbreak, maybe I dealt with some type of sadness, but I never truly felt what depression was. It wasn't until I was in college and I was taking a course, and this course was a very important course. And I felt at the course. I felt like I felt my family. I felt like I felt my parents. I felt anybody that ever believed in me. And because of that, once I valued myself, not by my academic success, but by that one simple failure, one simple F, all of a sudden, I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to be at the school. I felt terrible. I felt sad, miserable. There was a whole week after I got my grade that I was literally in my room sad. I didn't want to get up from bed. I didn't want to shower. I didn't want to eat. All I wanted to do was just sleep all day. And my friends would always text me and be like, hey, Jerson, let's go grab food, etc., etc. I just didn't want to. I just felt depressed because I let this stigma of I have to get an A. Because I was in high school, I would always get A's. Now I'm in college. I should do the exact same thing. But it wasn't until I came to the realization that high school and college is different. I have to be my own person that I want to view myself as, not the person that society wants me to be.
Yep.
Only because my high school peers saw me get A's doesn't mean that I should be getting A's right now. It's okay to get C's. It's okay to get B's. Heck, it's even okay to get D's. But you should never value yourself based on a grade, because the moment you do that, you're removing all the other great parts about yourself. Your helpfulness, emotion, the ability for you to make other people feel welcome. If you evaluate yourself just based on an F, then you're eventually going to fail. Eventually, you're going to run into this path where you're going to try to be too perfect and stress yourself out to insanity, or you're going to be berating yourself anytime you make a mistake and fail a class, fail a quiz. So that being said, I didn't truly get over that whole depression phase until I looked at myself in the mirror and said, why am I allowing this grade to judge me? Why am I allowing this failure to be me? Once I acknowledged that this isn't really something that should solidify who I am, it should be something that motivates me to do better. Once I changed my perspective, changed my mind, my whole trajectory into success academically changed, because then I viewed that failure, instead of identification, I viewed it as a motivator. Once it did that, study habits improved, lunch improved, exercise routine improved, just general mental and physical traits of myself improved because of that failure, because I no longer viewed the NEF as me, I viewed it as a motivator. Now, bringing it back to your situation, I think a lot of the kids that you're mentioning that could be depressed, could be feeling this type of way, I think it's important for them to understand that success is only determined by what you view success as. So in the classroom, people are going to view success as only A's. Maybe you view success as getting a C or not failing the class. If you evaluate yourself based on your own success, based on what you think is reasonable success, then you're going to be successful regardless of what you think. But if you allow others people's perspective of how you are, if you let other people tell you you're a failure and you genuinely believe it, your mentality, you've already lost. So you have to keep building on it, keep building on it, keep building on it. Otherwise, you're going to be in a position where you're never going to learn, because anytime that you're trying and you fail, you're already giving up. You're not going to try again because you're afraid of the failure. Yeah. That's the one thing every single youth should listen to. Understand that failure is a part of growth. Without it, you're never going to get better. Fail a class, that's okay. Do better on the next class. Fail 3 classes, okay. Do better on the 4th class. Just keep striving to do better, and eventually you'll reach a success that you deem worthy. So in terms of the depression, I think it is something very crucial. What do you think people in general in that student social circle can do to help them? So, for example, when you were going through your depression, what do you think some of your peers, neighbors, parents, family, what could they have done to help you get through that phase quicker and more efficiently?
Well, I feel just, for example, like opening up, know that you have, like, right now you're going through some things. And some students do open up in class. They talk to their counselors. They're like, hey, miss, I'm going through some things. Or their teachers say, hey, miss so-and-so, I'm going through some things. I was wondering if I can turn in my assignment next week. Teachers who really love their students and who really, like, gone through that and want to help students are going to be like, oh, are you okay? Yeah. Or they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, just turn it into me next week. Those are the teachers you don't want in schools. To bring it up back to the what should we do to solve this issue in schools? Yeah. With teachers, like, have teachers
be more involved?
More involved, more aware of this issue and how to catch it between students. Like, for example, I'm a really outgoing student at school. Okay. Like, I'm always hanging out with a whole bunch of different crowds. Yeah. So if my peers knew that I was going through some things, they'll be really surprised. Because it happens to a lot of different students. You have to learn how to catch it. And I feel like just surrounding myself with people that I was with when I was, like, super successful, or not super successful, let me rephrase that, when I was super happy and really motivated to go to school. I feel like just staying around that same crowd, just fighting through, like, that what's going on in your head.
So having a strong social circle.
Yep. Yeah. Whether that's in school, outside of school where you spend your time, just really having positive energy between school and, like, what you do outside of school really helps. Identify that. Yeah.
See, definitely. Now that you mention that, having a strong social circle, somebody that elevates you when you're in that battle with yourself. Because one of the things, like, if you notice now, gradually the work is getting more difficult. The same work that you would get in college, you're probably going to get that in high school already. If you're taking APs, even worse. So right now, let's say average student named Jim. Jim is going to school. He's a junior. This is an most important year for college. He's taking all APs. Now, Jim is also trying to do sports, soccer. Jim is doing sports, track and field, etc., and he has AP classes. Jim logically is going to go to his sports classes, but as a result, he's also going to have to commit to doing his work. Now, when he's doing his work, he's most likely going to stay up from 9 p.m. all the way to, like, 2 a.m. just doing work, and he's going to have to do that every single day for the rest of that junior year. Now, how can Jim do better to avoid those situations, to avoid burnout that eventually leads to some type of mental health? Because doing that every single day, it's insane. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where your brain fries, and then you're going to start messing up. Then depression kicks in. Then depression changes everything. Yeah. How can you, if you were Jim, what piece of advice can you give to Jim so you can do better academically while also succeeding sports-wise if he is trying to do that?
Just identify it. So, like, for example, when I was depressed, I didn't know I was depressed the first, like, week or so. I was just like, oh, I've been feeling different. Like, maybe it's my sleep or I don't know what's going on with me right now. Just identifying if you're depressed or not, and then seeking that help. Remember, opening up does a lot. Talking to your teachers is a lot. talking to your friends, but like, hey, you know what? I haven't been feeling very well.
Yeah.
They can ask that question. Hey, bro, if you want to come kick it with me, let's go do that. You want to go, like, get your mind off of it, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's a really good thing. So, time management is obviously important, but not being 100% submitted into this type of environment of only work 24/7.
Yeah.
Just removing yourself away from that environment. That is very interesting.
So you have to step back for a second to really identify what kind of place you're at right now, and then just like, oh, okay, I'm currently facing this right now. How can I better myself or get a jump start so I can be better at school and sports if you're heavily involved? Like, for example, in 11th grade, I was like an average A/B student. 11th grade, if you look at my transcripts, all my classes are C's.
Yeah.
All of my classes are C's. Like, the classes that I would get easy A's at was a C. Why? Why did the student get a C? But, like, I identified this problem that, oh, you know what? I'm low-key depressed. I have to talk to my teachers and my counselors, and I did. Or I had to surround myself with that crowd, with that positive energy, and it really did help. It really did change. The second semester of 11th grade, I was A's and B's, only like 1 C. Big difference. You can tell something happened there. And so, like I said, just identifying, stepping back, really see what kind of place you're at and what can help you at the moment, really helps students a lot in high school.
Definitely. I love that, Victor. That's a great point. Give us a quick second, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, and we're back with Victor Sanchez. So, as we were talking about, one of the greatest things that you can do to succeed academically isn't time management, isn't doing better at certain things. It's pretty much removing yourself from that environment. If you're in an environment 24/7 that's pretty much study, do work, eventually you will get in a position where you're going to feel helpless. But removing yourself from that environment, then you can place yourself in a situation where you can genuinely have fun, enjoy the process of becoming better. So on the journey to college, maybe doing work 24/7 isn't that great. Yeah, you could do great in school. Yeah, you could do great A's. But if the experience, the journey itself, you don't enjoy it, you are going to lose at the end. And that's what we're really trying to help kids understand. Yes, do well in school, but give yourself time to enjoy the pleasures of life. Go watch a game. Go run. Go play a sport. Go to a family gathering, go to a party without having to worry about all these things. So I commend you for making that comment. It's really, really powerful. Now that you're in college, how do you feel? Well, how do you know if college is right for you?
Well, it comes down from like my background.
Okay.
For example, I'm gonna be the first person to attend college in my family. Like my mom didn't
congrats.
attend. Yeah, thank you. My mom didn't attend college. My siblings didn't find that useful to them. They didn't attend college themselves. But they want me to strive for better. Like, they want me to go to college because it's something that our family didn't do. Yeah. And it's most likely not going to do. Aside from me. Yeah. I'm like the most determined in my family to attend college.
You're going to be the trendsetter.
Yeah, the trendsetter. Because like we didn't have that in our family. It's the background. Yeah. Like, growing up, the main reason my mom migrated to this country, the main reason was for education, right? Definitely. To have a better life for ourselves.
Of course.
And growing up, we always sought after, like, education is the key to success, right? Yeah. Which is debatable to some people. Yeah. To some other people, it's it really is. It opens your mind. Yeah. So I feel like at myself, where I'm at today, education is where I'm gonna go and where I'm gonna follow. Just because education can teach me to be that better person. Yeah. And the person I am is kind of like I want to teach this to other students. Yeah. Other people just like me in my community who didn't see education as a big thing. Okay. Who should be seeing it this way.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you specifically, college is right for you because you want to be the first person to start that movement in your generation, family, in your family in general. You want to be the person within the community that people can say, Victor went through X, Y, and Z obstacles, and he made it. He went to college, and now he can pursue academic success and find his own version of success. So that's why college is important to you, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, now, generally, how would you know? Do you think everybody is meant for college?
That's a very like debatable question. You might not be in the mindset to attend college right now.
Okay.
But like I said before, like, education is a place where like you really experiment on what type of person you are, your personality, your traits, what should you be doing.
Yeah.
So it's like saying if going to college is gonna be the right fit for you. Most likely not. It's like a gamble.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt until you try it, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't hurt until you try it. Some people drop out and they follow something else. Like these big successful people went to college and then just dropped out because they thought of a better idea.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. You know, you're experimenting if college is for you. If you go to college and you love it and you love like the people you surround yourself with and you got to meet a whole bunch of people, guess what? You went to college and you got exactly what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
If you go to college and you're not really vibing with it, you tend to be stressed all the time. You're going through some mental issues. You don't want to be part of college no more. Now you know college wasn't really for you. Some people find their different path. And then some people settle, you know, like they go to college, they pause, they start working, and they settle, and they continue with that. Yeah. But they still have that aspirations and goals to finish college. If you really want to do that, go for it. You know, do that. Yeah. It's something. It's not what people want you to do or see you as like, oh, he's going to college. That's what's up. Let him finish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's really about like what. Like you said before, really setting the bar and what's successful, what's the goal to you. Yeah. It's about what you want, not what other people see you as.
Got it. So tailoring your version of success to fit your own personal needs. I think that's definitely true. I think in terms of if the question, if college is college right for everyone, I think in a sense, I do believe that college is for everyone. I think that the people that I've talked to that never attended college but went straight to the workforce, some of them like the position. Some of them wish they could have gone to college. The people that have already been in college, did the program, they wish they didn't go to college. So it's always up for debate. But I think the biggest thing that is important is the fact that you at least try it. Because that way, if you try it, and whether or not you like it, you can at least mark that off your checklist saying, I tried it, I didn't like it. Or I was in this program and I graduated. I was best decision I ever made. The fact that you at least try it, and the fact that you're at least committed to it, that's important because it helps you discover more about yourself. If you remove that and never did it, you would never know more about yourself. I learned so much in my experience in college, things that I can take now, things that involve dealing with political climates, dealing with time management, skills, understanding more about the struggles inner communities face. Things of that nature, I understood more of it because of college. And because I attended college, even though I wasn't as passionate about the academic portion, I was passionate about the people portion. That's why I created the podcast. That's why I created my agency. That's why I got more involved into the business aspect to help fellow community members. So that being said, I definitely agree. College is a place for you to discover yourself. Try new things. Yeah. Find more about yourself. And then when you're a more shaped up person, you make the decision. Do I want to continue in this path or am I ready to do something else? So definitely in that sense, you are 100% right. Do you think you could be too educated though? Do you think at a point that you have to stop and start creating, or do you think constant education is really a great strategy? How do you feel about that?
It depends where you're at the moment. For example, if you're chasing that career to be like a really successful engineer, you know everything about engineering. Do you want to stop there and be comfortable and like pursue your business or that company you work in? Yeah. Or you want to continue being knowledgeable about that topic? You can feel free to do so or be knowledgeable about other topics. Okay. Is that the question you're asking? Is that like what sense?
Yeah. So in general, in terms of education, because you can always get yourself educated on something. So for example, when you're in college, you might learn about chemistry. After you're done in college, you're going to be, let's say you want to learn about history. Is there a point to where you can seek too much knowledge, or is too much knowledge okay? So, for example, if you're like me, for example, let's say if I like business administration, and then after I graduate, I'm looking into history. All right. Then I'm looking into chemistry, then biology, then et cetera, then et cetera. I'm constantly trying to learn something new, but I'm never stopping in the moment to use any of what I currently have for a purpose. Do you think to a point and to a fault you can learn too much and try to become too educated to the point that you forget that you actually need to use it?
If that's something you really want to do, is continue following education, being more aware on different topics. Good for you. You should do that. You're more aware. You can pass down that knowledge. It doesn't have to be, like there's a couple of teachers who I have right now who majored in a totally different thing they're teaching now.
Yeah.
But they have that background. They can know what they're teaching.
Yeah.
So if you really want to be that high successful person who goes out there, learns everything they want to learn and pass it down, good for you. You should do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is no limit to learning what you can learn. That's kind of like putting a stop on education.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get you. So pretty much, if you're like you mentioned, your own version of success. If you genuinely like it, do it. Don't listen to what anybody's perception is. Do what you want to do. Okay, I definitely agree with that. Now, tying it back, do you think that what is, in terms of your current education, what is the biggest failure you've experienced, and what is the greatest success you've experienced?
The biggest failure I've experienced, that's kind of hard to bring up. I think it would have to be that time period where I really felt depressed. Not because I failed in my classes, just because I failed to address that earlier to affect my grades.
Yeah.
Because I had 20 weeks to really change that.
Yeah.
And I waited last minute to do that, and so I didn't fail any of my classes. It's just I think I failed as a person really addressing that issue and just finding that out earlier. So I could have
self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness.
Gotcha.
So I could have done better.
Okay, and then at what point in your, I'm guessing, but let's see if I'm right. If you, what point is your greatest success academically, educationally? At what point did you say, "Damn, like, I'm proud of myself"? At what point did you really feel that way?
I feel like I feel that way every time I'm reminded of what I've done at school, with education, with the people I surround myself with. Like, hey, I just saw that video you were in. Congratulations, props to you.
Yeah.
Like, moments like those is what I most appreciate than, like, being on stage, speaking in front of 2,000 people in San Francisco, or, like, being awarded an award on a news station.
Yeah.
Like, I can watch myself being awarded on a news station. I'm like, oh no, I look like that, this and that. But when someone comes up to you and like, hey, I saw that video. Congratulations, bro. You're doing really good for your community. I'm pretty sure your mom's proud of you. Those are the moments where I'm like, you know what?
Small comments.
Yep, those small comments, just awareness, appreciation, really acknowledging people for what they do is really like, damn, okay, I made it,
Yeah, see, that's number one right there. Exactly that you just said. 100% I agree with that. The fact is that, we can do all these things, but we, at one point, need to be appreciated. We need to be reminded that somebody's looking at us. Somebody is appreciating the struggles we're going through. For example, if you're constantly busting your ass off to get A's, busting your ass off to pass school in general, just a simple fact that somebody can stop you and say, Victor, I'm proud of you. Victor, you're doing a great job. Those small moments made a huge impact. The moments where I truly felt like giving up, truly felt like saying, fuck it, I quit. When somebody reminded me, hey, Jerson, good job, man. Like, that was great. I really like the effort you're putting into. I like the study habits, blah, blah. The fact that somebody can just acknowledge your ethic, your work ethic, your devotion, even if you fail, that makes it or breaks it for me, honestly. If somebody appreciates you for the work that you're putting in, regardless of what happens, regardless if you get an F, the fact that they're acknowledging that you're trying, that can definitely propel a student to the next level in success. Now, before we close it off, what message do you have to the youth in terms of education correlating with depression or education in general? So, in the one message I would have for the youth of today is simply identify your own version of success. School might not be for everyone. School might be for a few. School might be only for those that genuinely like it. But if you're not doing well in school, find your passion. Don't just settle for whatever life throws at you. Find your passion. So if life is simply telling you you're a failure, here, get this job, don't even think about doing something creative, or don't even think about exploring more of outside of yourself. This book, don't even read it. Don't do that. Push yourself. Take it as a challenge, as a motivating factor, and say, society doesn't want me to do this. They think this is not a good idea. My family, friends, peers, they look at me and don't think that I'm going to be successful. All right, let me prove them wrong. Let me do this. Let me go ahead and write a book. Let me go ahead and start a business. Let me go ahead and work a great job. Let me go ahead and make impact in people's lives. Education should be used as something that can make you more self-aware. But it shouldn't be the end point. It shouldn't be the point that tells you if you fail any class that you're a failure. It should be the point that helps you bridge your journey from high school to adulthood. So in a sense, education should help you discover who you really are. You should never measure yourself by F's, by A's, B's, C's, D's. You should measure yourself by the character that you build at that moment and how your character impacts your fellow peers, class neighbors, anything of that sort. When you can do that and you develop character, you develop compassion, care, all of that things, then you will be successful. Not by a grade, not by you simply going and flying and giving lectures to other kids, not by attending the greatest university, by the fact that you can be a caring person, give to people, be nice, and change the world. That would be my message for the youth. And I think that's something that people should definitely start advocating to their kids, to their classmates, to their students, anything of that sort. What is your final message to today's youth?
I totally agree with you. My final message is that the youth should be aware and should really be the leaders in what they want to do. If they have a crazy idea of being something totally different that they didn't learn in school, you know what? Do that. Mm-hmm. Just have a really strong process of going through stuff and be that person you want to be, or make that company or create that company you want to. Yeah. You want to be like really successful. So my message would be like, just, you do you. If you really want to do that, prove somebody wrong. Mm-hmm. Just acknowledgement is key to really find that motivation. So just find that motivation. Just keep looking back. Always be humble. Be a true person to learn where you came from, and really just represent where you came from. If you really make it out.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, I really want to thank Victor Sanchez for dropping by today to the Understand Me podcast. Victor, anywhere we can reach you? What's your Instagram handle? What project you got coming up? Anything we should know about in general?
It's just really strong focus on school applications. You can find me at Sanchez.Victor1234. That's my Instagram handle.
All right. We gave him some clout. All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to today's podcast. I want to thank Victor for taking the time to educate today's youth. Victor Sanchez, everyone. Thank you.